welcome to another VLAB with me, Suzanne. So, we have been talking for quite a while about reporting. I know when I was in my 9 to 5 working with my team, I had to produce a lot of reports and it was stressful. And if you watch my long form video where I use AI to create teams, you can hear some of the challenges. Maybe some resonate with you, maybe you have a few new ones that you can include in your comments below. So today, I want to speak about report planning and tracking. So I have this beautiful diagram. So I'm still using my board. I hope that is okay. But we will transition in and out of various methods of recording, maybe PowerPoint. I'm exploring. So for the meantime, I want to just keep the momentum going by filming as many videos as I can, get the nerves and the jitters out. So not only am I going to talk about report planning today, you can see a masterpiece unfolding in front of you. This is from my mom, who is such a wonderful artist. And because I could not even compare, I just asked her to create this animation screen for me. So I'm not even paying for that. So I'm just very, very excited. And I hope that you will be able to see what we're trying to get to the fore in this video. So I have monthly and quarterly. So those tend to be the frequency of reports. And I have used dates that I have been requested to produce over the various years. So for monthly, I have had reports due on the 3rd of the month and on the 5th of the month. And I have had quarterly reports due the 15th of the quarter. And of course, based on my calculation, I think there are 4 quarters in a year, right? So, for example, first quarter, your report would be due April 15th. So you would have covered January, February, and March. Okay, so I think the frequency of reports is clear. Then this is me. I think it's a beautiful depiction. It can also be you. So I have me/you. So you can own it or not, but I'm owning it. And then over here, this is the most magnificent team drawing I have seen. What about you? Right? So these are happy people. Happy people make for a wonderful team. And then this building in the center is your agency, or it's internal to you. And then we have our animals. So these are our community pets. So this is a dog, and we have some birds over here, right? So in our community, we have animals, right? So we have to care for them. So she was very clear that animals are part of this conversation. Okay, then we have 3 buildings here, and these buildings represent stakeholders. So we have stakeholder times 1, stakeholder 2, stakeholder 3. And so that's the genesis of this conversation. So I'm gonna write in some time frames also as it relates to submission time frames. So if we know that we have monthly reports due on the 3rd and the 5th, we need to work backwards and create maybe some critical times and some deadlines or timelines for ourselves and for our teams. And this helps to make sure that everyone is clear with regards to the frequency and how work gets allocated throughout the month, the days, and the weeks. Okay, so I am going to say that I need here minus 3 days. Minus 3 days. So it means that when I get the report, okay, let me not be greedy. Let us say minus 2 days. Okay, I think that's more reasonable. Meaning that I need to get my reports from all my team members. And this team here includes my internal team and my external team. So for example, if you are in charge of a department, you would have staff in that department. So they would be, I'm classifying them as your internal team. And then in the wider agency, you may have team members who also, they are not necessarily reporting to you, but they have elements of their activities that intersects impact on your work, and therefore based on design from the agency, they submit their reports to you. So here you will require your team to give you, for say one of the monthly reports, we're going to use one date for this example. So that means by the 1st of the month, you will be getting your team's report. And it could be one, maybe there's someone that's amalgamating the reports, or you're getting 10 different reports, right? So based on your setup, you need to decide whether these 2 days are enough for you to collate and to make sense of all these reports, and also get it into the template that's required. So one of the things that I have done over the years is that even though I have reports for internal and external stakeholders due from the 3rd to the 5th of the month, I will use the earlier date. Because when I do that, then the later reports can be done in and around the time that I'm doing the earlier reports. And in the previous, or let me say a previous VLAB, in which I was explaining maternal health and designing of reporting templates, I made mention of amalgamating report templates so that you have one comprehensive report that you would have been now able to extract portions of that report for your various stakeholders. So you're basically creating one large report that feeds into the secondary stakeholder reports. Okay, so it's all a building block. And I think even though, yes, I'm speaking about these things in pieces or in fragments, it's really a system that you are trying to create. So here, your team members, they know that they need to organize their work in a way that they can give a complete and comprehensive report by the 1st of the month. I could talk about administrative days and those types of things that would help to support your team, because while we as leaders don't want to be stressed, we know it is unpleasant. It puts our body, our mental state in such a turmoil. We also do not want our team members to experience that. So whatever system you create, you should make sure that that system is created for to be inclusive for your team members. And that will mean you will work out with them based on their, I would say, those things that make sense for them, but it still should be a system. And even though there is individuality in the system, it still should be a system. And therefore, should that person move to another department or another agency, whoever comes in, there is a flow, there is a way of doing things that helps the whole to produce. Okay, so it means then that once you receive those reports on the first of the month, you have 2 days to organize, extract stories, make sure your data is strong and robust, complete, accurate. Maybe you do some validation checks during those 2 days, making sure that whatever you produce, whatever leaves your desk, is as clear and accurate. And perhaps you would want to create some charts with your data, just the presentation of it. And I believe that creating these templates with your stakeholders, as we discussed in one of the VLABs, it goes a long way in just helping your mind to be at ease during these times. So I think that is all that I would share for this VLAB session. Maybe one more thing on quarterly reports. So I know sometimes, whether you're a department head or program manager, program director, supervisor, coordinator, there are so many titles. But when you're in charge of the reporting for a particular stakeholder and it is quarterly, when you build that reporting system that helps you to be comprehensive in your reporting template, and this is comprehensive in your internal reporting template because you would have, as we've said, extracted, you'd have subsections from that complete report. When you have that exhaustive report, that's an internal monthly report. When it comes to your quarterly report, you have all the data that you should need to complete this quarterly report just like that. Also, I would suggest that you set just here, just as similar to the monthly report where you have -2 days, you should set an internal critical date for this report, and this could be the 11th of the month. Why? Because procrastination leads to stress. And so, because you have gotten all your reports by the first, you can make sure that you create a time, because your mind is already focused on report, that last report that you submitted for, say we're looking at the first quarter of the year, for March, which would have been submitted, the first one would have been submitted on the 3rd. It means that you now have, by the 1st of April, you have all the information needed for this quarterly report on the 15th. So if you set your schedule in a way that you complete your internal submissions and your external submissions for your monthly report by the due date, you are now within your time frame to submit early. You're now in the upper echelon of program leaders who actually submit their reports on time. So hooray, congratulations for that. Your system is working. Check, check, right? Now you can decide based on the demands and the priorities on your desk to complete your quarterly report early. because you have everything. You're already in the mindset of report writing. You can get your quarterly report done quick time, and that helps you. It takes away so much burden and so much stress, and it leaves you feeling so much more accomplished because your system that you have built, you have assessed it, you have seen where some gaps are, you have been addressing those gaps, you have been working with your team feels motivated because they're submitting on time, you are pleased with their submissions, and you are now able to submit monthly and quarterly reports on time. And this also goes for annual reports, because if you have your quarterly reports comprehensively done, when it is the time for annual reports, you only have 4 reports to now look at for your annual. If you find, tip, if you find that you are running around in your mind on your computer, hopefully not running around to your team members, but let us include that also in this basket. If you find yourself running around in your mind on your computers among your teams to find reports for annual reports, you are in a situation where you need to assess and create a stronger reporting system. So I do hope that this was helpful. It was definitely a reminder for me as I go through this. I'm wondering, how can I reuse this diagram? It's so beautiful. But with this video, it is captured in time immemorial. So as long as this video exists, my mom's drawing for my report planning and tracking video will exist. So I just want to thank you so much for joining me. I do hope that you have picked up something. Please leave your comments in the comments below in the description. It is quite new still. I think this is my 3rd video for YouTube. And yeah, it definitely has a lot of jitters in it, but I am trying. I want to help you. I want my community to be stronger and healthier. And I can only do it through you, program leaders, as you build a stronger health system. So thank you, and I hope to see you around here soon.